Hello everyone. So in the last two videos we had discussed measles and this filovirus. Now regarding this measles, I have explained everything from microbiology, pediatrics as well as from PSM point of view. So now let us begin with the third, which is mumps. Now the same way which I have been telling, we'll start with the classification, and you already know the classification is paramyxoviridae because we compared this paramyxoviridae from orthomyxoviridae which had influenza virus. So this is the table, and if you haven't watched the measles video yet, do watch it because many points from that video will be included in this video and I won't be repeating it. So just a general point, it is the most common cause of parotid gland swelling. Then after classification, so we have been studying the same 8 way, the classification, structure, reservoir, MOT, then clinical feature, then lab diagnosis, then its treatment and vaccination, right? This is not a mnemonic, this is just to tell you that we are studying in this 8 subtopics so that we can easily recall and write anything which is asked even from the university exams point of view. So the second is the structure. Now if we know it is from the paramyxoviridae, we already know the structure. It is approximately 120 to 300 nm and everything from this table like 100 to 300, it is pleomorphic, replication is in the cytoplasm, then negative sense single stranded RNA is present, everything, right? Then reservoir, third subtopic, the reservoir, and the only reservoir is human. Then MOT, it is very simple, it is the respiratory route. From the respiratory route it will go into the nasal mucosa or the upper respiratory mucosa, there it will multiply, then entering into the regional lymph node and the mononuclear cells, it will go into the blood and then further disseminate. Then the incubation period is 14 to 21 days, and it is the same for, again this table is very important because it will tell you about incubation period, the secondary attack rate and the vaccine all at one place. So for measles we told 10 to 14 days, then for chickenpox, mumps and rubella it is approximately 14 to 21 days, right? But still there were some MCQs in which you were specifically asked if it's 14 days or 19 days or 21 days. So for that you can again remember the sequence: MMR, measles, mumps, rubella. Start with the 10. So for measles it's 10 days. For mumps, just make, this is for 0, just make one line, this is 19 days, and for rubella add one extra line, so this is 14 days. So 10 days, 19 days and 14 days. And this was the question for mumps, it was 19 days. So you can remember both. Then coming to clinical features, so mumps is mostly asymptomatic, it causes very mild illness like fever, myalgia, anorexia, and mostly in school going children like 5 to 9 years. Then there are some complications or some sequelae, like it can cause bilateral parotitis, which is seen in 90% of the patients. And you should also remember sometimes it can be unilateral also, it's very rare, but just remember this point. Then in 15 to 30% patient it can lead to epididymoorchitis, and this is unilateral unlike the parotitis. Now if it's unilateral, will it lead to infertility? Obviously no. Then one more point, this is the most characteristic complication of mumps virus, but this is mostly seen in pubertal age group. So if someone asks which is the most common complication in an children, so then it will be aseptic meningitis, right? So aseptic meningitis. It can also cause oophorytis or pancreatitis, and this pancreatitis is one of the major cause of diabetes in children. Then the period of communicability, it is just 1 week before and 1 week after the symptoms. Then clinical plus subclinical cases are present, unlike measles where we told subclinical cases are absent. It is only from the case, that is me means human, so it is only from a case of human. But here subclinical cases are not absent, but again they are no carrier state. That's why we told human is the only reservoir. Then one attack will give you lifelong immunity. And what is atypical what is atypical mumps? If instead of causing the symptoms parotitis or fever, myalgia, anorexia, it directly leads to meningitis, then it will be atypical mumps. Then how will you diagnose? Some things are very common to all the viruses or even bacteria. Even if you know nothing about the lab diagnosis, you can always write antibody detection, antigen detection, virus isolation, RT-PCR, ELISA, swab culture, whatever. So it's very non-specific here too. It's buccal and oral swab because it will transmit by respiratory route, so you will take a buccal or an oral swab. Then antigen detection, virus isolation you will do from the primary monkey kidney cell line or cell wall technique. And the characteristic cytopathological effect you will see is the cell rounding and giant cell formation. Then again antibody detection, RT-PCR. Then treatment, nothing specific, symptomatic. Then vaccine, this is important and this is a question. The vaccine is Jerry Lynn strain, and the dose is you will give 2 doses subcutaneously, one at 12 to 15 months and the next as 4 to 6 years, that is before when he or she goes to school. Now again this table will help you in the vaccine, because for measles we told it is Edmonston Zagreb strain and it is a single dose, not double dose, it is a single dose 0.5 ml subcutaneous. You see all the 4 vaccines here are subcutaneous, they are 0.5 ml. The only difference is the middle two, chickenpox and mumps, are double dose and the periphery ones, measles and rubella, are the single dose. So that way also it will help you to remember. So for mumps we told Jerry Lynn strain 0.5 ml subcutaneous 2 dose, and the secondary attack rate I didn't write it there because it's written here. So the secondary attack rate for mumps is very characteristic, 86%, and this is already a question, 86%, right? And this I already told. For mumps it is, for measles it is how many? Yes, 10 days. Then for mumps add a line, 19 days. For rubella again add a line, 14 days, right? And in the epidemiology we already discussed. Whenever we talk about epidemiology, we talk in terms of agent, host and environment. So we talked about the agent is the mumps virus, paramyxo. Host, we talked about the human, that is 5 to 9 years and all the clinical features. Then environment, it is mostly in spring and winter. So this is all about mumps. I hope I helped you to simplify it, and with these 8 topics, this classification, structure, reservoir, MOT, clinical feature, lab diagnosis, treatment, vaccination. So with this, thank you very much, and sorry for the delay because I've been burdened with some other important works too, and my profs are coming too. So yes, I may be a little late, but hang on, I'll try my best to post videos. With that, thank you very much and all the best.